Hi guys, it's Becky, and I'm so happy that you're joining me to practice today. Let's start in Tadasana or mountain pose at the center of our mat, and go ahead and just set your computer right in front of you here. Get any last minute wiggles out as you walk your feet hip distance apart and blink the eyes closed. Inhale, bring your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, roll them back and down your spine, stretching down through the fingertips. As you inhale, stretch the crown of the head high to the sky. Exhale, sink heavy through the soles of your feet, feeling as though you're being stretched between the earth and the sky. Engaging the upper thigh muscles, tilt the pelvic floor up a little as you suck in that space beneath your belly button. Tilt the lower ribs down as you puff out the chest a little bit. Start to breathe here, noticing the length of each inhale and matching it with the length of each exhale. 3 more breaths here. And then on your next inhale, reach both hands up to the sky. Exhale as you slide your shoulder blades down the spine. Inhale, the palms touch. Exhale, reach them both over to the right as you gaze beneath that left armpit. Sink heavy through the sole of the left foot. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, both arms go high. Exhale, we reach over to the left, sinking heavy through the right foot. Gaze beneath that right armpit. Go ahead and suck those lower ribs in as you tilt the pelvic floor up. 2 more breaths. Inhale, reach both hands high. Exhale, back to heart center, a place where 2 sides meet. Let's start to focus on our intention for today's practice, to stay grounded in the present moment. We'll do this by noticing where our body connects with the earth, whether it be the soles of our feet, our hands, or our sit bones. Notice where your body connects with the earth and use it to stay in this moment. Exhale, let your hands float to your side, then clasp them behind your back, walking the feet wider than your hips. Inhale, puff out the chest. Exhale, put a deep bend into the knees as you fold between the legs, bringing your hands towards the front of the room as you let the chest get heavy for a rotator cuff opening. Keeping that deep bend in your knees, start to wiggle the hips out, bring the heels in and the toes out, and start to wiggle back and forth. So you're kind of flossing out the hips here. Take your time, do what feels good. Eventually, find some stillness, start to straighten out the knees as much as you can, and set your hands right beneath your shoulders. Then put a bend into your right knee, set your right hand down, and lift that left hand high, your gaze following up past the left fingertips. Stay here or at a half wrap, reaching that left hand across your back, snuggling it in at the right hip crease. Keep stretching forward with the crown of the head. Let the twist come from the upper back. Inhale the left hand high. Exhale, set the left hand beneath the chest. Put a bend into the left knee. Inhale, right fingertips go high. Gaze goes up. With each inhale, I want you to stretch the crown of the head longer. With each exhale, go deeper into the twist. Add that half wrap if you're looking for it. Then on your next inhale, reach that right hand back to the sky, exhaling, setting it down. Now start to heel toe your feet in just wider than the hips, and point your toes out, your heels in, and start to sit it low into a yogi squat. Pressing your palms into one another and your elbows into the inside of your knees so that you can open up the hips a little more. Try and lift the chest and keep engaging through your leg muscles as you sink the hips a little lower. Breathe here. Now set your hands beneath the shoulders, walk your feet out a little bit wider. Now your toes are in and your heels are out for straddle fold. If you feel a lot of sensation in this stretch, you can walk your feet out wider. And if you'd like a little bit more, inch your feet closer together. Our hands are in line with the arches of our feet, our palms are pressing into our mat, and our elbows are stacked over the wrists like Legos. Keep pressing up through the shoulders and tilting the hips high. On your next inhale, walk the hands beneath the shoulders, stretch the heart long as you walk your hands to frame that left foot. Pull that left hip back a little bit, then set the back knee down and clasp your hands together, placing them on top of your left knee. Press into that left knee with your hands as you squeeze your scaps together. Pull that right hip forward a little. Press down through the top of your right foot. Notice where your body is connecting with the earth. Inhale, arms overhead. You turn your hands inside out. Pull that left rib cage back a little. And on your next exhale, straighten out that left knee, find half split, and rock back and forth here, starting to warm up the hamstring. Do this as much as you need until you finally find half split. In half split, I want you to take some time to suck that left hip back and try and get your sternum in line with that left thigh. Keep stretching the crown of the head forward. Now from here, I want you to open up to your right in a supported side plank. The right hand is on the outside of the right knee, directly beneath the right shoulder. We're grounding out through that left foot, and we're reaching the left fingertips long past the ears towards the front of the room. Engaging the core here. Maybe you lift that left leg. If you want more, bend the left knee, clasp the left ankle, and kick into that left hand. When you release, go slow, try not to snap open. Then sit onto your mat, placing your right foot on the inside of the left knee. Inhale, reach up, exhale, fold over the left leg. Trying to get that sternum in line with the left thigh. Stretching the crown of the head long. On your next inhale, look forward. Then exhale, straighten out that right knee. And now find your sit bones and where they connect with your mat. And place your hands directly beneath the shoulders and start pressing into your mat with your hands as you lift the crown of the head higher. Now we're going to cross our legs at the shins, the right in front of the left, kind of up as close to your knees as you can. Now hug your arms around your knees and just breathe here. We're preparing to do something hard, so I want you to build energy from that breath. Take this time to suck the belly in, get as compact as you can. Now place your hands directly beneath the shoulders again, pressing them into your mat this time. See if you can lift the hips. Keep staying in that tight ball. Hold here. It's only a few more breaths. Then come back to your mat. Finding boat pose, lean back onto your sit bones, lifting your shins parallel with the earth. Squeeze your scaps together as you tuck the lower ribs down. Your hands are in line with the kneecaps. Engaging your core, begin to straighten the legs and lower into low boat. Our palms are up. Feel that connection with your lumbosacral region and the earth. Hold here. Then on your next exhale, relax into your mat. Inhale, arms overhead, a good morning stretch. Circle out the wrists and the ankles. Bringing your hands behind the head. Suck in that space below the belly button so you can feel your back make contact with the mat. Then inhale the feet to the sky, flexed toes as straight as you can get your legs. Exhale, lower the left leg, hover it above the earth. Breathe here, 3 to 5 more breaths. Notice your hips rooting into the earth. Inhale that left leg back to the sky. Exhale, lower the right leg slowly. Hover it above the mat. You should feel your shoulder blades and your 2 hip points making contact with the earth. And imagine roots growing deep, deep into the ground. Hold here. Inhale, that right leg comes back to the sky. Bringing the soles of the feet together, you're in a butterfly pose on your back here. Resting your elbows on the inner thighs, then clasping the hands on the outer edges of the feet, you can open up into happy baby if you'd like. Eventually releasing the feet, bringing the knees to the chest. We're going to take a few rolls all the way up into chair pose. So this is a core move here. You're going to have to roll a few times until you can sit up into chair pose. Finding our chair. Sinking the hips low, the fingertips stretched long. Exhale, sweep the arms behind you like wings. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step to the center of your mat, your heels in, your toes out. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, sit into goddess pose, clasping opposite hands to opposite elbows. See if you can get that chest stacked over the hips. Take a moment to tuck the lower ribs down. Then maybe you lift the heels. Feel where your big toe mounds make contact with your mat. Exhale, release the heels. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, let the arms float behind you. Clasping hands, inhale, puff out the chest. Exhale, bow between the legs. Toes are slightly in, heels slightly out. Pull up through your thigh muscles. As you tilt the tailbone high, let the torso get heavy. On your next inhale, release the hands, stretch the crown of the head long, and clasp your big toes with your 2 peace fingers. Keep stretching the heart long on the inhale. Exhale, you bow between the legs, pulling up through the hands and all the way through the shoulders. On your next inhale, look forward, walk your hands to frame that right foot, bend into the right knee, pull that right hip back, then set your left knee down. Placing your hands on the tops of the right thigh, clasping hands. Press into that right knee as you squeeze your scaps together, lift up through the crown of your head, pull that right rib cage back. Pull forward with the right foot. Inhale, arms overhead. Keep pressing down through the top of your left foot. Gaze is up. Exhale into half split, rock back and forth, warming up the hamstring here. And when you're ready, settle into your half split, trying to get that sternum in line with the right thigh bone. Stretch long through the crown of your head. Then you're going to walk your hands all the way over to the left for supported side plank. You're going to kick your left foot out behind the left knee as you place your left hand on the outside of the left knee directly beneath the left shoulder. Inhale, your right arm goes long past the ears, pressing down through the outer edge of that right foot. Feel the energy line from your right fingertips all the way down through the right foot. Eventually, you can lift that right foot so you're balanced here. And if you want a little bit more, bend the right knee, clasping right ankle, kick into the right hand. Slowly in time, release that right ankle. Go slow like you're moving through honey. Then you're going to sit down onto your mat, placing the left foot on the inside of the right knee. Inhale, stretch it high to the sky, both hands. Exhale, twist over to the right a little, bowing over the right leg. Get that sternum in line with the right thigh. Breathe here. On your next inhale, stretch it long. Then exhale, straightening out that left knee. Placing hands directly beneath the shoulders, pressing them hard into your mat as you lift the crown of the head higher. Now you can add on here by doing a little pike sit. I grabbed some blocks because it helps get a little more space. Or you can just try it with lifting your hips. If you have blocks, you can kind of measure based on how far apart your elbows are to where your blocks need to be. So on the count of 3, let's lift. 1, 2, 3. See if you can hold for 5 breaths. Any position goes here. I just want you starting to working on holding. Okay, and exhale it back to the mat. You can get rid of your blocks. And now we're going to cross out our ankles again, this time the left over the right. Come into your little ball here, breathe here. Start to gather strength from your breath to prepare you for your next challenging move. Now, set your hands beneath your shoulders. You're going to press your hands into your mat. Lift the knees towards the chest. Suck everything in. 5 breaths. You can do anything for 5 breaths. And let it go. Now we're going to find boat pose. Tuck those lower ribs in. Lean back. Find your sits bones. Lift one leg and then the other. Find your boat. Keep squeezing your scaps together so you're kind of opening the heart a little. On the exhale, lower into low boat. Keep sucking that space below your belly button in, breathing evenly. And exhale, release everything to your mat. Inhale, arms overhead, circle out the wrists and the ankles. Bring your hands behind your head and exhale both knees into your chest. So you feel that belly get sucked in and that lower back is rooted into your mat. Then you start to inhale your legs straight to the sky, your toes are flexed, as straight as you can get them here. Exhale, start to lower the left leg. Inhale it back to the sky. Exhale, you lower right. Inhale it back up. Exhale, lower left. Inhale, back up. Keep doing this in line with your breath, taking each movement to the edge of your inhale and to the edge of your exhale. Notice where your shoulder blades, your spine, your hips make a connection with the earth. Eventually, after you finish your last round, we'll meet with both feet up to the sky. Then on your exhale, go slow as you lower your feet all the way to your mat. How slow can you go? When your feet make contact with your mat, bend your knees, hip distance apart, and come into a bridge pose, however you choose. I like to place my hands right beneath my sacrum and support my hips. Or you can just set them down flat by your side. Exhale, come back to your mat, placing the soles of the feet together. Clasp your feet for a little butterfly pose on your back. Then open it up to happy baby, clasping the outer edges of your feet. Maybe in happy baby you like to straighten out your legs. Keep rooting down through the hip bones. Eventually you'll release the feet, knees come into your chest. Now you're going to take as many rolls as you need, engaging the core until you come all the way up into chair pose. Get a little momentum, play around with it. Maybe you don't get it the first or second try, but it's all just practice, so have fun. We meet in chair pose. Big toes are touching. Sink the hips low, reach the hands higher. Shift your weight back towards your heels. Your next exhale, sweep the arms behind you like wings. And if you want, you can lift the heels, coming high onto the toes. Squeeze everything in here. On your next exhale, release the heels towards the mat. Inhale, arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, fold into forward fold, melting the chest to the tops of your thighs. Inhale, stretch the crown of the head long. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch the heart forward. Exhale, fold. Do this 3 more times. Warming up the hamstrings. Eventually, set your hands beneath the shoulders, come high onto the toes, bend into the knees. Squeeze everything in here. Then place your hands flat on your mat, directly beneath the shoulders. Put a bend into your elbows. Prepare to hop back to the bottom of chaturanga, landing with your elbows at 90 degrees. Set everything down, untuck the toes. Keep your hands in line with the lower ribs. Inhale is your cobra pose. Exhale, release it down. Then press up to kneeling plank. Walk your hands out in front of you and start to melt your chest towards the earth for puppy pose. If you want, you can use your blocks, setting them shoulder distance apart. You can place your elbows on your blocks, bring your hands to touch, and just let your chest get heavy. With each exhale, melt the chest further towards the earth. You can stay here with your blocks, or if you're someone who wants a little more, come up onto your fingertips so your fingers create little tents, and this will give you more shoulder opening. Then bring your hands beneath the shoulders, press up through tabletop, exhale into a child's pose. Breathing easy here. From child's pose, look forward. Bending into the elbows, keep the chest low, the hips high. Like an inchworm, you inhale into up dog. Exhale is your downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels, wiggle out the hips. It's your first one of the day, so do what feels good. On your next inhale, reach that right leg high, pressing evenly through both hands. Exhale, bend the right knee, stack the hips, kick that right heel towards your butt. You can gaze over your left shoulder, see if you can catch sight of those right toes. Your next exhale, suck that right knee into your chest and step it on the outside of both hands. Inhale, look forward, kind of drop that back knee, untuck the toes, press that right hand onto the inside of the right knee. As you tilt the chest back, maybe you clasp that left ankle. Eventually, release that back foot and start to find lizard pose. You can come down onto your forearms on the inside of that right foot. And I want you to squeeze that right knee in more in this pose. We were just opening it in the last, but squeeze it in here. Keep stretching the crown of the head long. Then use your hands to walk yourself up, framing that right foot with your hands. Then inhale, sweep that right leg high, bend the right knee, stack the hips, stay here, or flip it over through Wild Thing. Joyously opening the heart as the hips stay lifted. Now, moving ever so slowly, lift that right knee, squeeze it in towards the right armpit. Then set that right hand down, find pigeon pose. Scoot that right foot up towards your left wrist. Right knee is at your right wrist. Keep your toes tucked for a second as you square off the hips. Hands beneath the shoulders, or you can place them onto blocks. And I want you to really focus on squaring off the hips. So pull that right hip back. Kind of suck that left hip forward. You can get rid of the blocks if you want. And see if you can bend that left knee and reach back and clasp the left ankle. If King Pigeon is calling your name here, go ahead and give it a try. Put that left foot in the crease of the left elbow. Reach that right hand up and over to clasp the hands. Keep kicking that left foot into the left arm. Release it in your own time. Walking yourself out of pigeon pose, meeting back in down dog after you shake out the leg a little bit. On your next inhale, come forward into plank pose. Exhale into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog for 5 breaths. Press down through the palms of your hands, roll the inner biceps up. Press the shoulders away from the ears as you tip the hips high, heavy through the heels. Inhale that left leg up to the sky. Exhaling, you're going to put a bend into the left knee, stacking hips, opening up that left hip. Gaze over the right shoulder if you choose. Maybe you can catch sight of the left toes. On your next exhale, step that left foot all the way up on the outside of the hands. Inhale, look forward, sink heavy through that back leg. Then set your back knee down. Place your left hand on the inside of the left knee. Press into it as you pull the shoulders back. Maybe you clasp that back ankle. You can roll onto the outer edge of that left foot. Eventually releasing that foot. Find lizard pose. Come down onto your forearms and start to squeeze that left knee inward a little bit. I like to come underneath that left leg just for a little more stretch. In time, walk yourself out of it. Frame that left foot once more, lifting the back knee, straightening out the left leg. Inhale, sweep it up to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees, stack the hips. Stay here or flip it over, wild thing. Imagine like you're moving through water ever so slowly as you lift that left knee, hovering it as you make your way into pigeon pose. Left knee comes to the left wrist, left foot to the right wrist. Really take the time to make sure your hips are square. If you need blocks, use them. Draw that left rib cage back a little bit. You can bring your hands to your hips. Maybe you clasp that back foot. If it's calling you, add king pigeon or whatever variation you'd like to do today. Focus on squaring the hips. That'll serve you most in the future. Linger longer in the pose if you'd like, or start to make your way out of it, walking your hands back, making your way back to downward facing dog, shaking out that left knee however you need to do. We'll all meet in our downward facing dog. On your next inhale, come high onto the toes. Exhale, bend into the knees, bear pose, shins parallel with your mat. Inhale, the hips go up. Exhale, ground out through the heels. Again, inhale up, exhale, bend. Inhale, hips high. Exhale, sink the heels down. One more time. Inhale up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, hips go high. Exhale, ground out through the heels. From down dog, I'm going to give you the opportunity to play around with some frog hops, so getting used to being on our hands. So just like we did before, inhale, come high into the toes, exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, get the hips high, hop up in a frog to land in a yogi squat, then get the hips high as you hop back to downward facing dog. Try that one more time on your own. Try and get floaty. Really press those hands into your mat. And we'll all meet in our downward facing dog. On your next inhale, reach that right leg high to the sky. Exhaling, suck that right knee to the outside of your right armpit. Then put a bend into your elbows so they're 90 degrees at chaturanga. Squeeze the elbows towards your ribs. Maybe you straighten out that right leg and start to tip forward into Kundanyasana 2. Keep stretching the crown of the head long. After you've given that a try, make your way back into three-legged dog. From here, chaturanga, vinyasa flow your way. Maybe you do a three-legged vinyasa flow. Meeting back in our downward facing dog. 3 more breaths here. Inhale, reach that left leg high to the sky. As you exhale, bring that left knee to the outside of your left shoulder. Put a bend into the elbows, get them to 90 degrees. Maybe you straighten the legs. See if you can tip forward into Kundanyasana 2 as you lift the back leg. Keep lifting the chest as you lift the back leg. In your own time, make your way back to three-legged dog. Vinyasa flow your way, maybe a three-legged vinyasa flow like I just did. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Gaze forward at your fingertips, hop it up, keep the knees bent, reach the arms overhead as you sink the hips low all the way to your mat. Your legs come long, and then lower all the way onto your back. Bending the knees, plant the soles of your feet in line with the knees, hands flat by your side. Inhale, lift the hips, bridge pose. Lift the hips a little higher as you begin to soften the butt cheeks. You can always clasp your hands beneath you or take full wheel if you choose. Wherever you're at, enjoy the heart opener. In your own time, make your way back to your mat and start to rock the hips from side to side, bending the knees, rolling up and down the spine. Eventually clasp your right knee, pull it in towards your right shoulder as you let that left leg extend long. Take an inhale, then exhale, bring that right knee all the way over to your left. Gaze goes over your right shoulder for a spinal twist. 3 to 5 breaths here. Inhaling back to center, straightening out that right leg. Exhale, let it float to your mat. Take an inhale, exhale, bring the left knee to the chest this time. Pull it towards your left shoulder. Inhale, then exhale, feel gravity pull your left knee all the way over to the right. Gaze goes over the left shoulder. 3 to 5 long breaths here. Inhale back to center, straighten out that left leg. Exhale, let it float all the way to your mat. Begin to wiggle out the hips and the shoulders, placing your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your belly space. Blink the eyes closed. Beneath your left hand, feel your chest rise and expand with each inhale. And beneath your right hand, feel the belly space contract up towards your ribs with each exhale. Let your breaths be long and full. Creating more space with each inhale, rooting further to the earth with each exhale. Where you are right now is exactly where you should be. Shavasana. Start to expand on the breath. Bring your awareness back to the body as you wiggle your fingertips and toes, circling wrists and ankles. Wake yourself up as you inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, roll onto your favorite side. Find a few more moments of relaxation. Eventually, walk yourself up to a seated position. Rooting down through the sit bones. Close the eyes. 3 more breaths here. Start to manifest how you can use your connection with the earth to help you feel more grounded in the present moment of your daily life. With that intention in mind, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Seal it in. Namaste. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and I hope to make many more flows for you.